What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic live stream. Of course, we're going to be talking about stocks, looking at charts, mostly, particularly talking about most people are going to be talking about the larger FANG stocks. We're going to be looking at the earnings week ahead. Again, we had a pretty insane earnings week of last week. If you remember, like we had, I forget what the overall market cap was for that week, but it was like just out of the top 10 stocks is like worth like a couple trillion, because of course we had Amazon, we had Apple, we had Tesla, we had Google, we had Facebook, all these guys. And now this week is not good. It's still pretty much loaded. We have a lot of things coming out on Monday. I want to look at is Simon Properties after the bell. So Simon Properties, if you're not too familiar with that, they are the folks behind like the outlet malls and other various like more high-end kind of shopping centers. Pretty interesting. I want to see on how they're looking at and what their outlook is. Of course, on Tuesday morning we have Nikola and Discovery. That's going to be fun. Corsair Gaming as well on Monday or Tuesday morning, as well as Alibaba is coming out there for on Tuesday before the bell. We've got Skills, Activision Blizzard. I kind of given up on those guys. They haven't been treating me very well. That as well. So looking at Lyft. And then, of course, it's moving to Wednesday now. We got GM, CVS, Roku, Uber, Etsy, Fastly. I don't think Fastly should really be too much. I don't think it carries the same weight anymore as it used to. And then, of course, we got Wynn Resorts. Of course, that's the casino. Following the casinos, we have PENN National Gaming on Thursday morning. I actually also have Moderna. Fiverr, Wayfair. This is Wayfair and Fiverr were very large pandemic kind of stocks. Yeti, let's see if we see some more positivity coming from them on the growth and really creating that Yeti brand. It's not just a thermos or something like that. It's something much more than that. Cloudflare, love it. Virgin Galactic, that's also a large one as well. And Square. And then we have some closing out the end of the week with DraftKings. And not really seeing too much. And this is not AMC, the movie theater. This is AMC Network. So don't get too hyped up on that one. Looks like a couple people have joined the chat. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have Do. What's up, my friend? Dan. Wesley. Yo. What's up, my friend? Thank you, guys. And, oh, excuse me. Thank you for all coming out. I appreciate it. So, yeah, that's basically the earnings week in the gist of things. Again, it's not going to be crazy exciting because, again, I forget the statistic that I read. I think it said as of Friday we had 70% of the S&P 500. What was it? Oh, we have Zillow Group 2 on Thursday. That's going to be a big one. What was it? Now I have to find it. I think it said 70% of the S&P 500 has already reported earnings, and on average there has been 18% growth. So it's basically kind of saying and spinning it as a positive movement. Again, S&P 500 is growing. It's continued to compound, that kind of scenario. Fish, what's up, my friend? Thank you for coming out. So yeah, that's that. Let's just move that to the side, kind of keep that track of that. As you can see here, I was looking at Simon Properties. So this is a stock, if you're, again, not too familiar with it, again, that's the mall, kind of the high-end shopping stuff. It was trading before the pandemic around 160 to 170. Of course, whenever thought the zombie apocalypse was coming, it just got slaughtered. Again, we're looking at a weekly chart here. So each of these bars are a week. It got slaughtered quite heavily, went down all the way to $42. Again, traded in isolation for quite some time, is making a pretty strong comeback, bouncing off that 134. So Kelly D, what's up, my friend? Depending on earnings, I want to kind of see how this plays out. They do pay a nice dividend, and they increased it. So it used to be $2.10 before the pandemic, but of course they cut that down basically nearly in half, a little bit less than half, got down to $1.30. But then there's been slowly raising it up. So I think we could see some positive movement if we're seeing like, hey, People are spending more money. We can definitely see this holiday season is going to be gangbusters. All this kind of stuff. This is going to be something that's going to be very informative for all the things going on into the largest like shopping season. Is basically that fall into winter, of course, that Christmas, Hanukkah, all that kind of holiday season kind of stuff is when most people do a smorgasbord of shopping there. So again, these are going to have a large component of that. Again, this is going to be, Simon Properties has the top brands. They have the Nike outlet. They have all these kind of stuff. It's going to be something very interesting to see. Looking for this one, again, the expected move for this week is basically, they don't have weekly, so it goes to August. So basically, potentially like a $7 move here. So we want to go, oh shoot, I just clicked on the wrong thing here. Trade, there we go. So basically, to the downside, let's go switch this to the daily chart. Looking for this one potentially to come down to like 120 to even that 116. It's going to be that little level support we want to look for. But that really breakout sign we're going to be looking for is that 134 plus. That's something that we could definitely see push us higher at those levels there. Any guys some questions? Yeah, okay, yep, we got some questions coming in. After this, can you look at Baba and Z? Sure. So Alibaba, of course, this one has been, let me get rid of some of these lines here. So this was a Fibonacci retracement. So if we go back to the weekly side, this goes back much further. So we were looking for some initial support coming into last week here, around $186.85. It did not break past that, so that's good. But you can kind of see here, just on this little chart here, it's pretty aggressively going down here. Let me get these lines out of the way. You're seeing the 8 EMA, you're seeing the 34 EMA, really kind of continuously on a downward projection or a downward slope here. Not meaning things can't change. Earnings can definitely change a lot of things if it really blows it out of the water. But there's a lot of risk here. I think do ask me earlier in the chat if I would be anything to do with Alibaba, and I said I would touch it with a 10-foot pole. Just because I'm just fearful. I understand that its earnings earnings per share is really low. Its price to multiples for sales is really extremely low as well. There's just so many different things of like, hey, this thing is just flashing. You should buy. But my thoughts are is just it's a little too risky here. I would like to potentially see how earnings comes out. Again, with the Chinese government being kind of very forceful with a lot of things, I think that's kind of putting somewhat of a stranglehold on this potential move here. But so the expected move for the week, which you're interested in, is basically around $11.50 basically, plus or minus. That's just what the options are expecting. That doesn't mean that it has to happen, that it could definitely easily blow past it. We saw with Amazon last week. Amazon expected move was basically around $120, but it moved like $260. So it blew past everyone's, the market's expectations, and it had much lower numbers than everyone thought, and it was very much skewed. Again, that's why earnings is so much a coin flip. You just don't know what's going to happen. Like, if Alibaba comes out and they're going to be saying they're going private, or they're concerned about being more scrutinized by the Chinese Communist Party, all this kind of stuff, that could easily bring the stock substantially lower. So you're basically playing Russian roulette here with Alibaba, from my opinion, on that sense. So basically $11 plus or minus, you're going to be looking for basically the 184 to basically that 211-ish or 207-ish price targets there within that range. And then looking at Z, yeah, I don't know. This one has been very difficult, honestly. We've been in this. We were trading in around 110. Had a little boost higher here, and then never really cleared those potential targets and really got past that green line here, which is that 144 EMA here on the daily chart, and never got past that. So that's actually not the greatest sign right there, honestly. And it kind of it gave back quite a bit. Again, we had that little bit of that market like pullback and the sell-off there, and it did pull back basically from like 122 to basically to 102. So it lost like $20 within like a week, which was pretty insane, right? And now we're seeing it slightly bounce off that 100 price target, but it's not trending very well. Again, earnings, coin flip, be very careful on that one. We'll definitely see how this one plays out, but I'm not going to be making too many aggressive bets on Zillow anytime soon, because again, if we zoom out to the weekly chart, this has been a very, very monstrous run. And you can kind of see here, I always believe in cycles or patterns. You can definitely see Zillow does really pull out quite a bit here, and then it comes back to the 144 EMA and sometimes breaks through it, goes way up high again, breaks through the 144 EMA, and then goes really high here. So potentially projecting Zillow in, again, theoretically speaking, if the housing market doesn't go so far like that, we're looking for $90 to $85 potentially within Zillow for in the next couple months if the overall market doesn't really kind of kick back up, which the market's really interesting right now, especially in the housing stuff. There's just so many homes that are just going on the market and then selling in a snap, and home builders can't keep up. There's, of course, the price of lumber has come down a little bit. It's still basically to the 2021 levels, and it's just a very weird time frame of how to like kind of congeal things together. It's not like a nice Lego brick that just kind of sits on top of each other. It's like trying to take like a Lego brick and a bowl of Jello and trying to make a structure out of it. And my brain, that's basically the way I look at the market right now. Very Jello-ish. K Thunder says SQ out with earnings. SQ with earnings? They already had out? SQ. Oh, they already had earnings. Okay, wow. Why? That's really weird. Very weird. Huh. Did they do that again? They must have. Didn't they do that like last time? They did this over here. Was it this time? No, it was over here. It was last November. I remember this now, where the earnings came out the day before, or like two days before when we're supposed to say it, and someone mysteriously posted on Twitter. So I guess SQ has already come out here already. This thing has been very choppy here. Again, I'm not trying to tie it to Bitcoin like everyone else does, but this is definitely something to be a great company, a great stock coming into the 34 EMA here. Is going to be the potential short-term support. So around that 142 to 143 is going to be looking at that short-term support here. We're going to be looking at a little bit more significant support coming in around 230 to 229. And of course, that overall overhead resistance is going to be around that 269 to 270. And of course, that breakout sign would be well above that 283 level in square. ZIN. Never heard of this one, my friend. Very interesting. Let's see here. Zim Integrated Shopping Service. Is this a Chinese stock? Cargo ship tariff from. Huh. Okay, it's been around for a little bit. It says incorporated in 6/07/1945. All right. It looks like it's a fairly new stock as well. Not too many earnings on it. It looks like it's trying to make a little rebound here. I don't know what you're looking for here on ZIM. Potentially, we're going to see a nice little, if we get back above 40, that potentially can kind of get that trend back into proper upward projections here on that. Because again, it was previously was pretty much well above that 34 EMA here, which is that orange line. But now, ever since that little break into the, what is this, like May into June, has been very choppy here and actually kind of slightly trending lower here. And now just trying to come back here to kind of get back above that $40 price target. But yeah, I don't know too much about this stock, but looks like they got a $2 dividend coming out here as well. So yeah. Check out GT. Goodyear. Yeah, they think the Goodyear reports on Friday, right? Interesting. Wow. I thought this was fairly... Ooh, wow. That got down to $4, Goodyear. Actually, I like this setup right here just because of this little ticker here. All right, so initially we have some support coming in here from $15. If they really blow past earnings and things kind of start going a little bit more negative, we can easily start seeing it creeping back down to 12-ish, 12.50. Excuse me. To the upside, we want to go take this back. I'm looking a little bit larger on the overall. This is a weekly chart. Again, we're coming into that. That is some pretty strong support here around 1475 to that 15-ish range. That's something that's going to be pretty key to watch here. Again, I don't think it has a weekly. It does have weekly, so we're looking basically at $1.20 move potentially. So that's pretty. I like this little potentially trade here. Looking for this potentially to kind of hold out here, and looking at these levels here to kind of see a market move here on seeing a bounce back here and seeing a kick higher here, potentially at 17 plus, and again trying to get back up to the $20 level. Might be really nice. That's a good call. Whoever said on GT, was that do yeah. Corsair for sure. Let's take a look at Corsair. Let's see here. It's CRSR, right? CRSR. Yeah, this thing really came super strong out of the gate here on its IPO. So it's been around for a little bit. It has had its market moves. It's kind of been on the talk of the town for a little bit. I do like it. I like the brand, actually. It's great gaming stuff. I'm more of a Logitech more than Corsair, but seeing this kind of potentially come up, really hitting that exhausting level at $50 here, and then really just kind of bouncing around here and finding a little bit of a base here around 32. But from that, it never really got anywhere else, and it actually traded down to the next Fibonacci number around 28. So this does have weekly options. It does not. So the expected move for August total is around $4.36 for the monthlies. So this is something that we should be maybe seeing again. Looks like the last couple earnings has been kind of a blah, and then it kind of trends lower here. But the last one, it makes money, like it's profitable. This is not in parentheses, so that's always a good thing, right? Potentially seeing it starts breaking below 28.30. Potentially, let's go look at this back on the daily chart here. Yeah, 28.33. If that kind of breaks below that, we can easily come back down to 26 to even make our way down to 22-ish play here. But being on the positive note, that previous market holding pattern that I had at 32 looked fairly attractive. It gets any kind of good news, and if they put out anything that's more positive going towards the future and their overall roadmap of success, especially when we talk about that holiday season. Again, it's ramping up here. We're going to start seeing Black Friday sales, or we're going to start seeing people selling pumpkin spice lattes now. That's going to be that your little cue of start seeing some market moves for in that. Aerto says GLD. Yeah, look at some gold. Yeah, gold. Nothing to really write home here with gold here. It's been very much just kind of just stagnant here. I usually just look at the gold futures, but this one, it has not really get past 180 here. We do have a Fibonacci sequence here at $171.39. If it does break past that, we can maybe see it to 175, but that 180 level has been pretty strong line here of overhead resistance and not allowing them to really break past that that market move. But maybe we can see it consolidate here and really come into its own and maybe get a boost higher here. Again, this is not going to be something like happening overnight. We're talking about gold here. It usually has to have some kind of other economic crisis or worry on the horizon, which the only thing I can hear and understand so far right now that could potentially be a little bit of a thing is we have some debt payments coming up for the U.S. Government, and see if how that works out. So basically, the U.S. government has to reallocate its debt and basically pay the interest payment on it. So if you don't know, we own like trillions of dollars, and we'll never ever probably pay that back unless we completely take over the world. Andrew says SQ is this week. I know, that's what I thought too on the chart. But SQ, as you can see here, it has they had earnings on the 1st. I don't know how they have that number there. It says 8.5 is the conference call, but it looks like the earnings numbers have already been released. If you can confirm that. Anyone else interested in Tesla? Hell yeah, Dan. Let's look at Tesla. This thing got donkey smacked around on earnings because people don't understand what the company does. Again, that 144 EMA minus this kind of area over here has been pretty strong in the short term. Has been very strong here on that 144 EMA here on the daily chart. This is something that we've talked about numerous times here on the Tesla stuff. The 144 EMA is very strong with this company, in the chart especially. You can see it here. Actually, let me get out the old PENN, and then we can kind of see that here coming through here, and looking at those charts coming through here. So let's choose a beautiful color of. I'm going to go with blue. So you can kind of see that 144 EMA here, kind of broke past that there, and so that previous resistance now came overhead resistance on but it finally broke out here, and then it hit this line multiple times here. So that's very strong coming forth here. Looking for Tesla potentially to kind of get past that imaginary line at $700. So that $700 has been so many issues for Tesla to kind of break through. That's a $700 money sign here, to kind of get Tesla to break through that and see it really kind of shine back out. Even though they're talking about, hey, we're going to be opening up the charging stations for anyone EV. We're going to be not being like Apple on it, closing their whole ecosystem. We're going to be having the Berlin and the Gigafactory in the Gigafactory in Berlin and Texas operational and starting production on Model Y, and talking about the Cybertruck potentially being boosted into 2022 and so forth. And I didn't hear too much about the Roadster, but yeah, it's people have to be a little bit more patient here. It did have a pretty crazy run on Thursday and Friday, and really some people got pretty jacked up on there. But anyways, yeah. BTBT. What is that one? I never heard of that one. Bit Digital Inc. This is interesting. This looks like it was definitely a FOMO trade here. So it was basically doing nothing for at $4 or $5. Got a little bit buying into, settled down, and then it just went completely parabolic and went vertical here on seeing a huge mass run up. Very typical kind of blow off top here, seeing it kind of come back here and then trying to break its previous top here, and it really didn't. And then now it just kind of trends lower, lower, and lower. Potentially a lot more volume coming in over here in the last like a week or so. Very interesting. So if you did buy this at $4 and now it's at $9, good for you. Potentially coming in for some overall resistance here at that 144 EMA here, which is around $9.62. Basically the $10 could be the next market move higher, sir. So we look from the previous swing high to the low here, we're going to be looking at that. Yeah, so 1082 is going to be potentially a pretty significant line in the sand here. If we can break past that, again, I have no idea what the company does. Looks like it has a question marks, but it's not confirmed on earnings on the 5th of August. So yeah, not too much to say about that one. A lot of volume. It's looking like it's like potentially a FOMO trade there. I have not talked about PayPal, but we can. Let's talk about PayPal. Very kind of a disaster move. So I own PayPal. If it does start coming down lower here, looking at potentially reevaluating the position and potentially adding to it around 160 to 150. Actually, let me move to the weekly chart. Yeah, it was around 158. I was looking at potentially adding it. I don't know why my alert went away. To potentially add to it. But this has been a monstrous move within PayPal here. It's been absolutely insane here in the membrane, and seeing how much the stock has gone up here in this just very short period of time. Johnny All Cash, what's up, my friend? Hey, can you show your toss settings on the 140 Birmingham? Yeah, sure. So if I go, oops, sorry, hit the beaker. So I have that 144 EMA here. So I just have the price as the close here, Johnny. And then I don't show any of the breakout signals there. The up or down, I don't touch that. Of course, I change the color here. Then, of course, here you can kind of change the line, the style of the line, and then, of course, the width of the line of how thick you want it. I kind of want to make that kind of thick here because it's pretty important here on a lot of my charts. So that makes it a little bit thicker here, as you can see here once you apply. You can also put the input names or plot numbers on there as well, which I don't kind of really do that. But yeah, hopefully this is what you're looking for. And then, yeah, then of course I have my 8 EMA and 34 EMA, and then I have the squeeze and applied volatility. Is basically what I just kind of use as my basic chart. But you can kind of see some of my more in-depth charts, which it tells a little bit of a better picture, but it's very hard to kind of translate that to the viewer because there's so much going on the screen. I kind of want to make it a little bit more of a simplistic view of what's actually going on in the chart here, and really looking at the ticks and some the key moving averages that I like to follow. So. Dude says I check out Party. Is that Party City? Is that gonna have a short squeeze? I don't know, man. That's a tricky one. This thing was trading. So before the pandemic, basically, it got up to like $6.90. We're above that, which it's not like an AMC where it's kind of had that enormous short squeeze coming in here. But it is something that is interesting. Let's leave it at that. Let me redo this fib here. Swing high, swing low. Oops, did it click? There we go. Click there. It did have a kind of market move. It looks like it potentially can run up to that fib number, come back down, run through the fib number, come back down, and run through the fib number. Really looking at if it does have that bull move or that really strong like push higher here, that needs a break above 1038 here. Again, it does have earnings coming out on the 5th of August as well, so that's something to look out for. Again, that's a little bit of a coin flip. If you know me, I'm not really going to be touching too much of stuff going into earnings that soon. But thank you for sharing. Johnny's looking for Clover. I know. That's been a tough one, right? It is kind of holding that pattern. I think we talked about this one last week, Johnny, around that 8 to 850 to around 8, low 8s. They're kind of holding at that pattern there. With running into earnings, again, you know my impressions of earnings. It's a complete coin flip. We have no idea what could happen, what could the side of the coin could happen. It could be jumping into a whole other dimension. We really don't know on especially on the wonderful stuff of earnings, because again, things can happen and slide one way and go the other way. It can be completely insane in the membrane. So this is something to looking at with Clover Health. Again, it was part of it. And the sad thing is that this whole like stuff that happened into May into June really kind of skews the chart up quite a bit here. I think the chart could have been really well if this really didn't happen over here and they had that large move to 28. I think the stock could be easily around 1050 to around 1188, honestly, because I think the way that the chart was playing out here and that last quarter could have maybe slowly made its way up back to the 144 EMA here, and then looking forward to kind of trade in around that 144 EMA rather than everyone just kind of selling it after they're not like, oh, it's not going back up to $28 and kind of getting the wrong kind of investor in there sometimes in the short term. Hello, sir. I hope you're doing well. Good today. Can you please take a look at PENNs and Amazon? Thank you for your advance. No problem. PENNs is something that really came down at a Fibonacci number. I didn't have the cojones to buy it on this very large market move down that it had after earnings here. It's growing. It's doing okay there. I didn't really do the best analysis on the earnings report myself, so that's why I didn't have the full confidence on just going in and buying it on the dip here. I would like to maybe wait a day or two, maybe Tuesday coming to Wednesday. If it starts kind of holding here around that $59 to $60, maybe I'll start small and selling some puts on it. But again, this is what kind of happened with last earnings. It kind of broke back lower. It took a couple more days and then really sank through. So I'm kind of being a little bit more hesitant on not being the first person off the boat to kind of get my hands on this treasure here. But that level of $59 has been pretty significant here for support here. But if it starts breaking below that, there's not much of a floor to around that $50 price range there, though. It's definitely going to it depends on how the overall technology stocks go. Amazon, yes, another crazy market move. Excuse me. So we want to talk about the 144 EMA, that thick green line here. That thing as well has come down to that price target there and has been bounced off that a little bit. Yes, that is the first day of that. I want to be very careful with that. I don't want to be the first person to, again, just dive in there and start selling puts, because again, I like the things kind of like to build a base here, to kind of maybe see if there's any more news coming out here and all that kind of stuff going forth there. So basically, that's where we want to kind of look at those levels there. Did my YouTube just crash? Hello? Oh, what's going on here? Hello? Am I stuck? I'm frozen. No. It says my up view, so what the heck is going on here? You're good? Okay, that's fine. All right, so Amazon came down to the 144 EMA here. Again, I don't want to be the first one out of the gun. So we looked at the last quarter, okay? Last quarter and the last quarter before that had pretty large market moves, but then each time it came back down to 144 EMA there as well. So looking for this one, bounce on that 140 right away here. Again, we talked about this at the beginning of the stream where the market move, the options market was looking for around $125 expected move, and of course it blew past that and went down to like $270. Okay, so much higher here. This is something to look forth there. Honestly, Johnny, it's like put puts on Verizon or Comcast Internet We've had really crazy summer storms here, so I want to be very careful of that. Fun stuff. So yeah, Amazon, that one, bada bing, bada bang. Kelly's asking for Callaway earnings this week, long November, 30 calls. Okay. Callaway, a lot of golf, a lot of people picked up golf. 30 calls, so you're talking, okay, so a little bit, that's not bad, right? 30 calls, looking for, what's the expected move for this week? They don't have weekly options. Okay. November, 30 calls. What are those going for? $4. There's not, I don't see much open interest. Okay, a lot of open interest here at 33. That's interesting. It looks like people are selling these 38s here as well and selling the 40s. Maybe potentially selling those on top of their position here. Anyways, so that's just my analysis there. Looking for this one. Very strong support at that $30 level, honestly, Kelly D. That has came back here to multiple times and potentially bouncing here and potentially seeing it going higher here. Would like to see this potentially run up to $36. Again, the expected move is not going to be that substantial here. The expected move just for the monthly August 20 call or August 20 expiration is basically $3.33. So that potentially could get back up to that $34 plus range in light of that. Shoot. Thinks my internet's going out. I'm uploading well over 8. What is it doing? I think it's Google now. Let me refresh this. Okay, how about now? Okay, anyways. All right. Did I get Kelly's? Because again, they run the thing through the browser, and it's not, it's fine and dandy, but yeah. Thank you everyone for telling me that everything's good. Please check out DM. I think it found a bottom, but I'm not sure. Yeah, dude, I wish it did too. Very short-term bottom. Potentially, maybe a bottom. Maybe not. We'll see, right? It's well below. It was a SPAC. Blew up. Yes, it's in the 3D printing kind of business and industry, but yeah, we'll see on how this one pans out. Again, I got jolted out of it. I'm very small in this position now, very small. Actually, for a loss, I think now. Actually, maybe, probably for a. It has to be for a loss. Someone's asking for space. Yeah, space. Sorry, I didn't skip you, my friend. Getting space here. Virgin Galactic, of course, Richard Branson had a very successful launch into outer space and now made it back safely. Of course, we had Bezos do that as well. But this is really going to be seeing how many reservations, how many people are paying for this, all this kind of fun stuff. It has some kind of like initial support here around $30 to $31 ish. It's kind of been bouncing around in that that market there for a little bit here. Earnings very volatile. Something that again you have to be very careful about. It's something out on it's after the market on the 5th of August, and the expected move for this one is basically $3.25. So $3.25 can easily push it back up to $32 plus. To the downside, this thing moves quite a bit here. We can easily see this potentially start trending its way down to $25.72. That again has also been some level of support here as well. But space is very much like you have to be very optimistic outlook on this one, and really think about like, what am I really buying into here? Again, this is not going to be someone who is completely a fundamental analysis kind of person, because this is very, what's what I'm trying to say. The company is not going to be. It's not really like white and black kind of company. Like, of course, it's white and black in the sense of you need to sell seats to get money, but they're also training astronauts with their simulators and things like that. So that could be some larger government contracts, and it's not like their rocket ship could actually shoot satellites in space. I'm not sure the aircraft is designed for that. It's literally coming down into tourism kind of a scenario. So my viewpoint on that. You're looking for was that DraftKings and Twitter? Yeah, DraftKings. This thing has been moved around so much. I'm really not a fan of it, honestly, right now. I can draw some very quick potential levels of resistance here. Yeah, so that $45 has been pretty significant support here. But at the same time, that 51 and 56 price levels, which is the 618 and the 78.6 percentile move, is basically looking for some overhead resistance. Again, with earnings coming out, we'll see on how this one potentially plays out. So we're looking for nearly a $4 move this week. So that can easily put it back up to above that thick green line, of which is the 144 EMA, and higher here, or to the downside to around $45 potentially, and really kind of maybe start trending lower here at that point. I am nowhere near anything knowing about sports. I know they're doing stuff for the Olympics on gambling. I guess football is going to be starting soon at the end of August, and that's usually a big season for them as well. But yeah, I don't know too much on the fundamental side of DraftKings. I just know this stock really hates me, and I don't trade it. I don't do very well trading it at all. Twitter, I like this one a little bit better. It's kind of been trending here higher. This is something that I want to see here. Maybe test its $74 level here as well. Again, I think it's a pretty strong competitor to a lot of things. People always talk about how Twitter's cringe and things like that, but Twitter does a pretty good job on letting people speak their opinion. They're not like just gonna cut you off with the legs, I think. From my understanding, I know they censor some things, but you can find a lot of things on Twitter. Like most of the stuff that I follow on the stock market, I get a lot of it from Twitter. So, but that's just my small niche of the market. I don't follow the political stuff or the science. Like, I do follow scientific stuff and technology, but I don't follow the political stuff, which most people kind of get themselves in trouble on that, like on that front. But yeah, Twitter, yeah, had pretty strong earnings here. Didn't do too much there, but looking for that potentially continuously trend move here, holding above that 34 EMA here, with some short-term support coming down to $67. What are your thoughts on LZ's asking do? LZ, is that Lazy Boy? Legalzoom. Oh, I didn't know they were in public. I love Legalzoom. That's a great product. Not really too much I can say there, honestly, I don't know the fundamental breakdown here and what their debt and all that kind of stuff looks like and how it's structured. But in the short term here, we can kind of look here at the fib here from the swing high to swing low. Clearly kind of seeing a pattern here, very choppy here, potentially looking for some potential resistance here around $38. And we're finding a little bit of support here around 36. Not too much to say about that. Looks like it has earnings coming out on the 12th of August, so we'll know more there. Usually don't like to buy too many of these IPO stocks without a clear understanding of that. Kobe Kim saying, I got the $20 space September 17th puts. Yeah, that's a position. Sorry to bite you. One last one. Yeah, Baba, we did talk about that one in the beginning. A lot of people did have requests for that. I just can't honestly touch this one, Kobe. It just has too much bad news on it. I know people are like, hey, all this bad news, some good news needs to come out. I'm like, nah, I don't know if it always works that way. Especially on the chart here, that 144 EMA has been pretty strong support. It finally broke past that 211 price target and 200-ish level of support here, and now it's kind of falling here. We did talk about that 184, 183 level being some level of short-term support, but if it really breaks past that and the earnings just kind of goes negative here, this is kind of going into no man's zone, because you can kind of see here the chart is kind of just trading down to sideways on the slope here. Yes, can earnings change it, but as of right now, I don't really want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. So I just want to be very, very careful with that one, for my personal opinion. Yeah. Some stocks that I do like. I like the potential setup here in Apple. I know Apple has been trading fairly high here, very the market move here, but I really like Apple here as well. Are you investing as a full-time job? Haven't been on your stream in like a month or so. No, I don't do it for a full-time job. It's completely my full-fledged like side hustle, side duties, and just my full-on just fun thing to do. And it's a fun thing to do that makes me a lot of money. So it's not my full-time quite yet, if that makes it any clearer. You need to have a lot of cash in the bank to be able to go full-time. That's one. We haven't looked at Airbnb here as well. Airbnb, this one we talked about a couple times, like the same thing. It broke past that 144 EMA, never really got past above that here. We are looking for some support here on 142. Again, this also has earnings coming out on the 12th of August as well, so keeping this in mind here. Looks like we potentially have a short-term double bottom here at 130 here, so that could be a potential level here. So this is what I'm highlighting right here, that potential bottom here at 130, and this one bottom 30 here as well here. Again, very much tied to if the Delta variant or another lockdown of what people are saying could drive this stock to go lower. Who knows? I can't predict the future. I wish I could. I would make a lot of money, but I can't. So this is really going to be tied to that overall narrative, and seeing how this one plays out again on earnings on the 12th here. So we potentially could get a little boost higher here. As you can see, it has tried to get back above that 34 EMA here, which is the orange line here, but it really hasn't really seen too much move from since then. Again, it's been very kind of dormant, kind of just chillaxing. Susan Lynn says Amazon. Yeah, we can look at Amazon. We did talk about that one. Since it's still pretty much just being it's like it just got shot. So it's like it didn't go down. It went down more than we suspected. So the options market was looking for a move around 125 here, and it went well past that. It went down even lower. It went down to almost 300, but it closed at down 8% nearly, or 7.5% at $272 lower. Did potentially looking for some support here on that 144 EMA here, which is that really solid green line here. I'm not going to be the first person just to kind of dive into the water here. There are still some sharks potentially luring around this potential price target, because again, it's very fresh. There's still blood in the water here. Potentially more of the conservative side of trading would potentially try to wait and being patient. I know that sounds very difficult to do sometimes in investing. Maybe waiting 2-3 days, maybe seeing on how the overall market does come Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe start nibbling on selling premium, maybe selling some put spreads, whatever your fun thing to do on the option side, and start going from there. But that's a little bit too much fresh drop. And again, we're not talking about a small drop. This thing really fell out of the sky here. And it's not just gonna take it with stride. Again, it could take the completely other way, Susan, and it can just kind of rebound and just pop back up to 3,500 plus. I don't know. That would have to kind of be really tagged onto some kind of news or some kind of like misallocated data or something that didn't come out on the earnings report. Because as of right now, it has been heavily damaged, this vessel, aka the Amazon boat here, and there's sharks going around it, potentially trying to get some fresh meat here. That being said, here, if it really does go lower here, which we want to kind of potentially look at that. So yeah, $3,352 is going to be a Fibonacci level here. Then potentially looking for that market move as it continues going lower for 32.37 price levels there as well. Mintai, what's up, thing? Fill the gap on Amazon. Fill the gap. From what previous gap? This gap up here. There's multiple gap downs that it hasn't really. Oh, it has multiple gaps here, but it is coming to these potential price targets here. So again, I definitely could see Amazon potentially trending lower here. I'm going to be skewing more on that because usually when you see this huge gap coming out like this, it usually kind of continues for a couple days. It can maybe try to start bottoming out. I don't think it's going to drop another $200-300. Again, unless some other worse news comes out, but I think it definitely could make its way slowly back down to 3,200, right? And maybe see some levels there to kind of hold off here. It doesn't mean it has to close at 3,200. Maybe the tail of a Monday or Tuesday tick can come down to that level because again, news still travels fairly slow even in this internet environment. It takes people multiple days sometimes, like, oh, shit, I didn't know Amazon had earnings last Thursday, and I owned 100 shares of it. I need to sell half of it. And then it takes multiple days sometimes to kind of flush completely out and letting that news hit multiple different targets. The targets being different investors, different trades, different people on how they view the market. It takes days. It does most of the times. It takes hours, sometimes minutes, on how the news is dispersed. It's not like a crazy tick that goes up and down because of algorithms. This is very much so that this is just like the human interaction of just sell, and just the fear of just being caught with this stock for whatever reason, even though it's a very well-run company. Yes, there's potentially signs of slowing down ever so slightly and maybe kind of increasing the margins a lot, which is really an ongoing problem with Amazon because, again, we're talking how many warehouses do they have in the United States? I have no idea, actually. How many warehouses? How many Amazon how many employees do they have? They have 1.2 million employees. That's insane, right? How many Amazon warehouses are there? Amazon currently has 110 active fulfillment centers in the US and 185 centers global. Okay, so they have 110 fulfillment centers in the United States, and each of those house hundreds and hundreds of employees that have to run around with their stopwatches, scanning and getting us our books and video games and toilet paper and whatever else we're ordering on Amazon. So that's a lot of large expense there. That's a huge expense. But it's actually one of the, like, if we're strictly talking business here and not talking about human and emotions about it, human expenses and paying for labor is always in business world, something that they can really try to subsidize, cut out, or potentially eliminate, which is what Amazon's probably going to do. Yes, they have all these people in the warehouse doing things, but robots, more streamlined logistics can easily bring back the margins there at those levels here. So that's basically what I'm going to have my, honestly, opinions on the old Amazon. What is going on out there? I think there's 2 Amazon drivers. That's on my door. Huh. Interesting. Makeshift, yeah. Employees are the biggest expense, right? You got to pay for healthcare. You got to pay for all these other things for an employee. Okay, you only can work it so much. Like, I sound terrible, don't I? Gibbs, yeah, we did Baba. I know a lot of people have requested this one. The expected move for the week is only $11.33. And then we kind of zoom into this potential target here. We're seeing a lot of open interest, basically around 200. And then that's on the call side. And then we're seeing a lot of open interest, which is kind of scattered here around 185 levels there. But we did see a lot traded. Sorry, this is the volume. Okay, I'm messing this up. I messed it up. Sorry. 11, so 200. And then we're looking for a larger open interest on the put side around 175 here. So very much skewed. We're not sure on how things are going to be looking there. It's very hard to calculate here what's really going on and how to really evaluate this company. We talked about this one quite in depth here, and just understanding of like, hey, the Chinese government want to kind of strict the controls here and kind of clamp down on things. But we just don't know on how to re-engage that new pricing of a stock with the new information or data that we know. We know that things aren't going fantastic, and there's a lot of these weird scenarios popping up in China where, hey, you can't do this today, blah, 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 right? US is asking for, can you check out SNDL? Yeah, not much to report on this penny stock here, in my opinion. Very stagnant here, kind of trading around that 90 cents level here, and kind of just like doing next to nothing here. Looks like it does have potential earnings coming out the 10th. It's not confirmed yet here on Thinkorswim here. If it does break past $1 plus, that would be a nice little move there. But it's very much skewed here on what happened here previously. Basically, in that February timeframe, we saw it really burst higher to $4 level and really seeing it kind of peak there. And again, potentially very much the typical FOMO scenario where people try to get it back up to that previous $4 and it fails and just really kind of turns lower. Then you get another little push, didn't get back up to that 150, 160 price target, comes back lower. So potentially we do get a market move here. We're going to be potentially looking for $1.05 to $1.25 here and potentially looking for that. Gibbs asking for SPRT. Never heard of that one. Support com. Wow. What in the full fudge is this? Wow. Okay. What is this? Support com corporate support is a provider of cloud-based software that services or the company offers outsourcing support services providers, retails, Internet of IoT solutions. As a service, the company supports interaction with customers and user product designed to maintain. Interesting. I don't know how to look at this. There must be some kind of market move going on here or something kind of data going out here and seeing it. Yeah, there were 2 Amazon trucks. They must have got lost. That sucks. Or something happened. They were just talking out there in front of my driveway. Anyways, support com. This looks insane. This pattern potentially could be like a cup with handle here. And really kind of seeing it breaking out and going higher here. Oh, it's merging. Okay, so it's being bought. Are the support company is acquiring someone else, or they are merging with Green Ridge and Q3? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with either of those companies, honestly, Gibbs. But that's a huge market move there for you. If you got into that one, my friend, Nice. Dude, that's what are your thoughts on PSN with a new infrastructure bill? I haven't looked at the new infrastructure bill. I know it's less than what they were talking about again. They keep on cutting it, right? People were really getting hyped up on that infrastructure bill in December of last year, and then of course this February timeframe of this year. Yeah, this one, not really too much to talk about with PSN here. Definitely seeing it kind of, again, breaking lower here with earnings coming out on the 4th before the market. So it's going to be looking for that level there to kind of see it break lower here, but I don't know too much about this company as well here, on what this company does. Because it's a provider of technology, driving-driven solutions, defense intelligence, critical infrastructure markets, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, those descriptions actually never helped me, honestly. I just read them to kind of better understand it here. But looking here on the chart here, let's do a quick fib. Yeah, that $39 level is going to be some level of support here, but it has been trading below it here. It's currently at $38.62. If it starts breaking lower here, we're looking for some initial short-term support coming around 37, but some stronger support coming in around 36 to 35.76 there, my friend. Interesting one there as well. Let's look at here. Looks like the futures S&P 500 just chugging along. It's up nearly 20 points, nearly 0.5% here, just kind of ticking along here. Really getting close to all-time highs again, and maybe we can get an all-time high coming in on Monday. NASDAQ as well, kind of hugging that 8 EMA here on the daily chart here, just kind of chugging along as well, potentially trying to see that 15,200 potentially being touched here pretty soon here. Again, we talked about this towards the beginning of the stream of most S&P 70% of S&P 500 companies have already reported, on average, out of all those companies, 18% growth overall. So that's really good, right? So you're saying S&P 500 index or SPY or whatever you want to track here is looking like it's going to continue going stronger here. With the continuous money pumping of the Fed into the system, why not, right? Could we see a pullback? We can always see a potential pullback, right? And you always should be kind of ready for it depending on what time frame you're trading. If you're trading on a year, like a long-term basis, you're not really kind of caring about some of the inner flows, things like that. But the 34 EMA, if we do get a pullback in the S&P 500 this week, which the expected move is $3 basically this week. Sorry, I read that wrong. I looked at the 6. So we're looking for a $6.60 move. So it's currently trading at $4.38. So that could potentially going its way down to potentially to like the 432-ish kind of target here, which kind of falls into that 34 EMA here. Targets on levels of support here, because again, if you look here and just in the short term, we've kind of whacked to that 34 EMA multiple times here. Let's kind of highlight that here, multiple times here, just recently here as well. So why not, if we can come back down, potentially getting a short-term bottom in that price target there within S&P 500. Uber broke down, yeah. Uber from its last earnings kind of make its way back up to $50, but it never really got past, again, that really strong green giant, the green wall of the 144 EMA did not have the moves and the momentum to kind of break past that, and now it's just kind of breaking lower here. If it starts breaking past that previous low, basically around $43, I think we can easily see $40 to $39 within Uber in no time, I honestly do. Even though travel and so forth is going forth again, it has earnings coming out on Thursday or Wednesday, right? On the 4th, which is on Wednesday after the bell. Yeah. It's not my favorite stock. I have traded it and owned it in the past, but it has not been holding up very well here. But in the longer term, if you're looking in the weekly chart, you're seeing it coming down to that 140 EMA for resistance. So maybe we could get a nice bounce here if we kind of get the things change back around, a more positive move in it. I kind of want to do another fib here. Let me do this one real fast. Hold on, my friend. Okay. I was worried about it. That 618 from the Fibonacci extensions here, the 3-prong here, that's basically $43.50 is some pretty strong level of support here with that 144 EMA. Interesting one to see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I may have to play this one just on selling some premium on it for earnings this week. Nothing too shabby. Looks like they're potentially selling the 45s here. Yeah, we'll see how this one plays out. I think if that does break, that's going to be a pretty strong break here, and $40 to $37 could be an easy target for Uber to be hit if we do break well below those ranges there. I think that could be pretty substantial for the company or the chart more in particular if there isn't a good news. Even if it's not like good news, they just need some kind of catalyst, something in the roadmap that they can project out that could be doing well. But we'll see. We'll see how everything goes. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming out, watching the live stream, participating, and so forth. Lovely. I love doing these. Would like to do some more. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next live stream or the next video. Have a great week, trading week, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.